Is there a QB competition brewing for the New York Football Giants as they have signed Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson? Reports are coming out that say that could be true. My question to you is this: who do you want to be the starting quarterback for the New York Giants this year? Is it Dangerous Russell Wilson, or is it Jameis Winston? Give me an R for Russ, give me a J for Jameis, and let's go. Welcome into Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for rolling in as we react to what Albert Breer, longtime NFL insider, someone that I would say is very close with Giants GM Joe Schoen, reporting this. The Giants' position, Russell Wilson is the likely starter, but they plan to play the best QB. It might be Jameis Winston. It might be the third pick. What this does is give the team two very experienced QB options at just $15 million in base salary. And also flexibility to wait on drafting a quarterback. We'll talk about Russ and Jameis and who should start and what Russell Wilson had to say at his introductory press conference. But I want to start with what he talked about, maybe the quarterback at number 3. There's been a lot of talk of, Marsh, does signing Jameis and Russ take the Giants out of drafting a quarterback in round 3 or round 1 at pick 3? I think it simply boils down to this. I don't think anything else matters than this when it comes to drafting a quarterback. If the Giants think Shedeur Sanders is a franchise quarterback, you take him. It is that simple. You don't have a franchise quarterback on this roster. Yes, you've improved it with Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson, but that's only for a year or maybe 2. You draft Shedeur Sanders if he's a franchise quarterback to be your guy for the next 15 years. If you don't think he's a franchise quarterback, don't take him. I don't think you're pushed to take a quarterback now because you did build a pretty solid QB room with Russ and Jameis. You don't need to reach. If you think he's a late first-round guy, maybe you don't have to reach anymore, and you could draft Travis Hunter. But at the end of the day, if you think he's a franchise quarterback, you take him. And at this point, to be honest with everybody, it is hard for me to pass on drafting Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. I think Shedeur Sanders, and I've been pretty clear on this the entire time, can be a good starting quarterback in the NFL. I think he is good enough to give Brian Daboll a chance to make a competing roster. If you just had Jameis Winston, I would say you would have to take him. But I don't know if he is a bona fide 100% franchise quarterback. And I think I need to have that feeling if I'm taking a QB at 3, especially when I already have a starter for all 17 games in Russell Wilson, who he said at his introductory press conference, I expect to be the starter. And I think that means a couple of things. He expects to be the starter over Jameis Winston, but he also expects to be the starter over a guy that maybe the Giants drafted number 3. And if you were willing to take a quarterback at 3, and you're not willing to start them right away, I'm not saying that doesn't mean you don't believe in them, because I know the Patriots believe in Drake May, even though I think if they played Drake May from the jump, Jerod Mayo wouldn't have been fired because they would have won some more games. I don't know. There's just a lot of bullets flying around. We'll see. Let's start with this. I would be shocked if Russell Wilson does not start. He's already told the media he expects to start. And when you just look at the contracts that Joe Schoen has handed out to both veteran quarterbacks, the money says that Russell Wilson is going to be the starter. He's signing a 1-year deal worth up to $21 million with $10.5 guaranteed. Jameis Winston is signing a 2-year deal with $8 million in total that could be up to $16 million. So the money says it is going to be Russell Wilson. And I do think it should be a competition. I don't think that necessarily you should just roll out the red carpet and say, here you go, Russ, no matter what you do this offseason, you're the starter. And maybe the Giants do that. And I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world, but if we go through OTAs and we go through training camp and we go through the preseason and Jameis Winston looks better than Russell Wilson does in this offense, throwing to Malik Neighbors, getting involved with Darius Slayton. If Jameis looks better, he should start. The best guy should play. $10.5 million to Russ doesn't say you're the starter by all means necessary. The best guy should play. When you look at what these gentlemen have done over their last 17 starts of the National Football League, this is how they stack up. Completion percentage points towards Russell Wilson. 63.9% completion rate compared to 61.2% from Jameis. In the last 17 games, Russell Wilson is 9-18. Jameis Winston is 8-9. I will say, for Jameis Winston, I had to go back to the 2021 season with the New Orleans Saints when he played under Sean Payton to total 17 wins. So a much longer time span than just Russ. The total yards, over 4,000 for Jameis, 3,700 for Russ. 220 yards per game for Russ, 239 yards per game for Jameis. 24 touchdowns for Russ to just 9 picks. 30 touchdowns for Jameis, 20 interceptions for Jameis. Not quite 30 for 30. Big-time throws to turnover-worthy plays. 32 big-time throws for Russ, 15 turnover-worthy plays. Jameis Winston, 30 big-time throws and 31 turnover-worthy plays. I really think this is going to be an interesting QB room, and I have confidence in both these guys to win football games with the Giants. But they could not be more different. Russ is someone that, yes, likes to take deep shots, and Jameis likes to take deep shots as well, but Russ is a lot more honed in on taking care of the football, not turning the ball over. That is shown in the turnover-worthy plays. And Russell Wilson has like less than a 2% turnover-worthy play percentage in his entire career. Jameis Winston is well above 3. Jameis says, I'm going to go out and sling it, and I don't care what happens. Russ is a calculated risk taker, much different in those regards. And I think that's shown in their want to throw the football away, to say, I'm going to live to play another down. Russell Wilson threw the ball away 32 times last year. Calculated and aggressive. Jameis Winston, he only threw the ball away 8 times last year. So he's going to live and die with pick sixes, and then he's going to pray to God to say, deliver me away from throwing pick sixes. Look, either way, this is the best Giants QB room that they have had in a long time. The room you had last year was a joke with Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, and Tim Boyle. You got 2 guys that can win games. Like, Jameis Winston can win games for you. He just threw for 497 yards last year and 4 touchdowns in a game. First time a quarterback that has done, the last time a Giants quarterback did that was Y.A. Tittle. Russell Wilson, he led the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs. He was 5-1 in his first 6 games with Pittsburgh when he took over as the starter in Week 7 because he was hurt the first 6 games of the season. And he had that offense humming, 29 points per game, throwing for 270 a night, 10 touchdowns, 5 turnover-worthy plays, and an EPA of 28.7. Then injuries happened. Then George Pickens started missing time. Then the offensive line got shaken up. And they started to play much better teams down the stretch, like the Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens. And they lost their last 6 games, including in the playoffs. And the offense kind of fell off a cliff, 16.3 points per game. But Russ showed you last year, when he has talent around him, they can win games. And for Jameis Winston, when he played in 2021 with the New Orleans Saints under Sean Payton, before he had a season-ending injury, they were 5-2. Jameis Winston led a football team to 5-2 just a couple of seasons ago. And Sean Payton cured Jameis Winston of the turnover bug. Just 3 interceptions in 7 games. Yes, the yards are down. Yes, the yards per game are down. Yes, the completion percentage is down a little bit. I would do some nasty shit for a 5-2 start for the New York Giants this year. Both of these guys are high-level quarterbacks. Jameis Winston was a major recruit coming out of high school. Russell Wilson, major recruit coming out of high school. Jameis Winston won the national championship. Jameis Winston was the number 1 overall pick. He was a Heisman Trophy winner. And you look at Russell Wilson, he's won a Super Bowl. He was putting together a Hall of Fame career. Like, I don't want people to think, we just got another quarterback that's just as good as Daniel Jones. That is not true, ladies and gentlemen. These guys, Russell Wilson, much better than I think Jameis Winston at this point, they are both quarterbacks that have way more talent than Daniel Jones. And if you just look at their last 17 games, Daniel Jones doesn't even compete with these numbers. 13 touchdowns thrown for Daniel Jones over his last 17 games. Russ threw 24, Jameis threw 30. 14 interceptions for Daniel Jones. Russ threw 9 and Jameis threw 20. Daniel Jones was always a reach in round 1. Jameis Winston was the no doubt number 1 overall pick. And Russell Wilson showed everybody that they were wrong, as he has put together one of the best quarterback careers we have seen in the last 20 years. We'll take a look at a little bit more of this in a second. First, go to chatsports.com/neighbors, because if it's Russ, if it's Jameis, they're going to be throwing this guy the football early and often next year. Get your Neighbors jersey today. Chatsports.com/neighbors. That link will be clickable down in the comments and description. So this is what your QB room looks like now. Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and Tommy DeVito. That's what you got. Maybe you add Shedeur Sanders at number 3. Maybe you add a day 2 quarterback like Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe. But I have a lot more confidence in these 2 gentlemen than I have had in the top 2 quarterbacks for the Giants, and God knows how long. How confident are you? What's your confidence level in the Giants quarterbacks right now? Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being you're not confident. 10 or 100, 1 to 100. 100, you got the most confidence in the world. 1 to 100, sound off for me. And make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on IG, @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up, and let's go Big Blue.